May her soul rest well. Let's move on away from that. The Supreme Court of Ghana is under heavy criticism for the rapid handling of an expert application filed by Majority Leader Alexander Afenyomakin, which has resulted in the stay of a ruling by the Speaker of Parliament that declared 4 parliamentary seats vacant. Critics point to delays in addressing the disenfranchisement of residents in Central Kofi, Akpafu, Lolobi, and Likpe during the 2020 elections, among other issues, to support their argument. More details in the following report filed by ChannelOne News' Daniel Odrumensa.
The reopening of Parliament has been marked by controversy as Speaker Alban Bagbin upheld a petition declaring 4 parliamentary seats vacant. This decision was driven by the fact that the legislators from those constituencies intended to contest the upcoming elections either as independent candidates or under the banner of the ruling party. The Majority Caucus, dissatisfied with their Speaker's ruling, filed an ex parte application at the Supreme Court to halt the decision. The court granted the stay just a day after the Speaker's announcement. The president of Imani Africa, Franklin Kujo, expressed surprise at the Supreme Court's swift response, particularly in light of how other election-related cases have been handled. He also stressed the importance of political parties maintaining discipline among their members to prevent internal conflicts from leading to independent candidacies.
I'm just saying that this is someone who we have been pillaged, we have been abused, we have been insulted, frustrated, including the participation of the Supreme Court itself. I mean, they actually started the first pillaging. And I'm here trying to justify why some pampered people who have served their term, collected money and probably collect their pay and collect some ex-gratia should not be pampered because they decide that they don't want to represent their constituency and they love it because they lost at the election. How rich, really, isn't it? So it looks to me that we have a certain set of, and I was surprised that the Supreme Court could be this strict, right? I mean, look, even if this case was like it was such that we had a few more months before the election, and so there could have been a by-election. The way they acted, the strict nature in which they decided to listen to this matter, claiming that, well, this borders on human rights and borders on people's representation, was quite an affront and an insult to the rest of us at sall.
The Member of Parliament for South Dai, Roxy Nelson Dafiamekpo, weighed in, suggesting that the new Patriotic Party's challenge to the declaration of the seats as vacant stemmed from the current impossibility of holding by-elections. He maintained that the Speaker's decision was justified and argued that the MPP would have eagerly pushed for by-elections if feasible. Dafiamekpo also criticized the Supreme Court for siding with the Majority Caucus.
In every jurisdiction, the Supreme Court is a political organ also. It's a political institution. And I think our Supreme Court has increasingly been political. What they have done is to aid government, is to aid the new Patriotic Party to maintain balance of power in Parliament with this ruling. That's what has happened. When a member who has been elected to Parliament as an independent candidate decides to associate, to do business with the MPP, which gave them majority, you think the Supreme Court is not aware of what happened? They know that decision tilted the balance of power. So when the same person is guilty of the same provision that benefited him, you cannot be aiding the political party in this way. You cannot. Right. And as the NDC, we find this approach by the court extremely disconcerting.
The Member of Parliament for Old Tafo, Vincent Eko Asefua, disputed the Speaker's ruling, arguing that it was beyond the Speaker's authority to declare seats vacant.
In my estimation, the Speaker of Parliament does not have jurisdiction to deal with this matter. He does not have the jurisdiction to deal with the matter. That is why you have to go to the Supreme Court. And in this particular instance, you have to go to the High Court for determination.
I see.
So I do not see how. Yes, and in fact, if you look at the Speaker of Parliament's ruling, he cleverly said that he is not interpreting the Constitution. He is only applying it as to his understanding, which we agree. But you see, when you put an application to the law which denies certain people their right of representation, then of course we can go to the Supreme Court.
So, on the other hand, private legal practitioner Bobby Banson defended the Speaker, asserting that he acted within his legal rights. Banson urged all parties to follow the proper legal channels in contesting the decision.
If the Electoral Commission has filed a poll and it says that this is election of members into the next parliament, does it mean that I have communicated to Parliament, to the Speaker, that in this Parliament, as we sit, I do not want to be associated with Party A or Party B, or I'm changing my status from being an independent member to this party member? That could be issues that the Supreme Court could interpret. I don't have the answer. Yes. They are the ones that have the jurisdiction to interpret. But having said that, I do not think the Speaker did anything wrong with the not wrong as in the merits, but the procedure. I do not think that the Speaker does not have the jurisdiction to have interpreted and applied the Constitution as it did. I do not think that the Supreme Court is the only institution of government that has the right to interpret the Constitution in the context of the parliamentary session.
The declaration of 4 parliamentary seats as vacant has sparked legal battles and intensified political tensions, while the Speaker's ruling has been met with resistance from the majority caucus who secured a stay from the Supreme Court. Opinions remain divided. All eyes will be on Parliament when it reconvenes on Tuesday. For ChannelOne News, my name is Daniel Odro Mensah.